Hey everyone, it's Pastor Scott Fielder, and welcome to a special edition of Hope Lutheran Church in Hollywood's Christmas Day Devotional. Thank you so much for tuning in, whether you're watching on Facebook or YouTube. Please make sure to subscribe on those platforms so that you can get notifications about when our online Sunday services go live and also our midweek Wednesday devotionals as well. I hope you all are enjoying this holiday season, and our reading for this week comes from the Gospel of John, chapter 1, verses 1 through 14. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. He was in the beginning with God. All things came into being through him, and without him not one thing came into being. What has come into being in him was life, and the life was the light of all people. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness did not overcome it. There was a man sent from God, whose name was John. He came as a witness to testify to the light, so that all might believe through him. He himself was not the light, but he came to testify to the light. The true light, which enlightens everyone, was coming into the world. He was in the world, and the world came into being through him, yet the world did not know him. He came to what was his own, and his own people did not accept him. But to all who received him, who believed in his name, he gave power to become the children of God, who were born not of blood or of the will of the flesh or of the will of man, but of God. And the Word became flesh and lived among us, and we have seen his glory, the glory as of a Father's only Son, full of grace and truth. Here ends the reading. In the beginning. The writer of the Gospel of John begins with a hearkening back to the creation story of Genesis, when we really sit and think about creation in our own lives. Creation can be many things. It can be something big, it can be something small, something funny, something sad, frustrating, but especially, I think creation can be messy. Think about it. Even when we first come into this world, out of the womb, we are far from clean. Think of the gardener. When we plant, garden, and harvest, dirt is impossible to avoid. An artist probably will just have as much paint on their clothes as maybe they have put on the canvas. When you rearrange the furniture in your office or living room, a mess is sure to be made. The creative process, the creation process, is one that has many parts that lead to a mess. We can simply look around us and see some of the more interesting nuances of creation that maybe even make us wonder why things are the way they are. One great example is the platypus, which obviously looks like the combination of a duck and a beaver, right? Another interesting one that is a weird combination to me is the walrus. If you pull up a picture of a walrus, clearly it's the combination of a sea lion and the mustache of a young Burt Reynolds. So why is creation so messy? It's because it's this drawn out process. It has a beginning, it has a story, and then it has an ending, and then there is new life. It is during this process that we learn. We learn from mistakes that are made, we learn about what is being created, and we learn about ourselves as well. This is a process that, one that we know has a beginning, and then again, eventually, for some of us, it has that end. The messiness is in the process of creation. When we have a goal, something that we want to create, whether, you're a woodworker, or you work with metals, or build cars, or paint sculptures, or even just writing a story. It's a messy thing. But the end result, that is what we work for, while enjoying the journey as well. That is crucial. This feeling of accomplishment, seeing something through, is one that we all love to have, and God, I think, feels the same way about us, right? There is this ending to this, but this journey along the way, that is where we feel the presence of God the most. Even when it does become messy, that doesn't change the fact that God is present with us in our mess. And that gives us this certain sense of freedom in our journey. That is one of the beautiful things about faith, is that, we believe that we are no longer bound by the law. We don't have to earn our worthiness, our love from God. And this freedom that we get from knowing that allows us to be in the world with this sense of relief. We can be free not only to be in relationship with God, but with the rest of creation, especially our fellow human beings. We can truly be a servant to all when we do this because our neighbor needs our service, not because we are trying to earn something, but because we know it is right. And this, to me, is one of the beauties of faith and guides us, to me, through this journey of creation. And as we go through the process, this journey will, be a good reminder of the message of the text from the Gospel of John. In the beginning was the Word. It's the Word that inspires us, and the Word was with God, who calls us, and the Word was God. He was in the beginning with God. All things came into being through him, and without him not one thing came into being. Right? We are co-creators in that. We see that nothing is created without God, yet God says, create with me, right? Be creative with me. What has come into being in him was life, and this life was the light of all the people, the reason for this season, his son, Jesus. He is the light that shines, and there is nothing that can overcome it. And during this Christmas season, may you take comfort in something like that, and I hope that it gives you that sense of freedom to be in the world, knowing that you are loved, that nothing can change that, and that you have so much love to share. Amen.